2 minutes really. I don't want to say Joe's thunder, but listen, what you've done raising the funds has been brilliant up to now. It's been exceptional. We got the email through today. I don't know if you all saw it. We're second in the club, second in the whole club. So whatever there is, like 300 teams or something, you're second out of all the teams in the whole club raising the funds. So when I spoke to Niall about it, I says, well, we need to probably just have a meeting at training, because just 2 things from me. Firstly, hopefully everyone's happy the way we set a long-term programme out for you all. This isn't a short-term programme. I keep talking to coaches at the club and they're always on about winning the next game and stuff like that and all sorts of nonsense. This is a long-term programme that we've got going, and the boys are putting us ahead of schedule, by the way, way ahead of schedule. I said they're going to peak by the time they're 16. Hopefully they still will do. So it's a long-term programme for them all. The stuff that we do in training, the stuff that we do in games, the tournaments that we do, it's all thought out, it's all, set out, but it's not random. So when we start talking about the finances, I'm looking into doing another European tour next year, all right? So it's something to think about now. Hopefully, if you want to do the fundraising and that, it's fine. If you all want to pay, if you want to get all the fundraising things, that's also fine. At this moment in time, I know, like say with the COVID and all things like that, but there's 2 or 3 tournaments that I've already been looking into. There's one in England, one in Spain, just outside Barcelona, and the Gothia Cup as well, which is in August. So one June, July, August, whichever works for us all as a better one and the better tournament. Because I want, from now on, I know, like say, the last 2 tournaments you've smashed everyone, which is really, really good. But from now on, it gets a bit harder. All right. I don't know what teams are in this Super Y League, but I know the finals are in Tampa in December as well, so that's something for you to plan on as well, if they do well in the Super Y League, if they do well. The Super Copa, it's going to be hard, right? I won't say you can't win it, because that'll be the challenge for you. I won't say you can't win it, because you might be able to, all right? But it's a learning experience for you to play. Originally, it was the 32 best teams in the country by invite. That's what the Super Copa is. And it was an invite-only tournament. It's moved to Dallas, hasn't it? So hopefully they're travelling here to come and play us on our own turf. So I really just want them to do well in that. So hopefully, the programme's sort of pulling together a bit, but I want you to start looking forward to a European tour. It's part of their development, all right? It's not just a jolly holiday. I'm going to make sure they're in a good competitive competition where they can learn from it and they can grow from it. I think I may have told you before, my son, he's 33 now, and last time I went home, I was in the bus with him going to an away game, and all they talked about was, remember I went to Barcelona, remember I went to Gothenburg. He's 33 years old. So we call it memory building. So it's good for them. They don't know about the tournament. And just on that Gothia Cup, we was a little scrote team from Blackpool, similar to these that nobody knew about. FC Dallas West tucked out there. Nobody knew about us. We was 1 game away from playing Benfica in the final at the Alevi Stadium. Opening ceremony's 40,000. We took everybody by surprise, so there's nothing to stop you doing it as well. And they still talk about all these things that we do. So it's part of your education, soccer education, but it's also part of your development as a person as well. Going and dealing with everything out of the bubble that we all live in here. I don't mean that in a negative thing. So listen, that's all I want to say for now. I'm going to keep you up to speed with it. Obviously, I'll probably give you options to see how it works, but plan on June, July, August. And as soon as I can do that, I can give you a date, and then you can book your cruises round Matt.
We're already booked.
Are you not doing cruises anymore?
No, we've already booked them.
Have you got another cruise?
We got to do the tournament.
You're brave. You're brave going on the cruises. So all I'd say to it, I'll give you the information, and it's mandatory. You don't have to go. Obviously, I'd love every one of the boys to go. If the parents can't go, that's fine. They'll all be looked after with the parents that are going. For the new ones that have come in, we went to Ireland last year, didn't we? And not all the parents went. All the kids had a great time, didn't you? Yeah. It's a step up though now. Each time we do a tournament now, it'll be a little step up for you all the time. It's like climbing a ladder, getting to the top, a little step up all the time. All right, I'll hand you on to Joe, but listen, well done for that fundraising, fantastic effort. Even all the coaches at the club are saying, well, God, what sort of team have you got out there? So, it's been noted. The FC Dallas West have putting it on the map a bit.
So next tournament, is it going to be Super Copa? Is that...
Super Copa September now.
Right.
Yeah, September. We've got a Super Y League, not this weekend, the following weekend. of which, like I say, I don't know the quality of the teams in it, but I know that
That's here in Dallas.
yes, that's here in Dallas, and then the finals. If you win those 2 weekends, it's next weekend and the following weekend. Is that right? And then if you win that, the finals in Tampa on I think the 11th to the 13th of December, or something, aren't they? In Tampa. So, you know what I mean?
All right.
Good job.
So, in terms of the team account, which is now what I'm helping kind of manage, we had funds that rolled over from the previous season, which was about $1,300, about $1,400, $1,395. So we paid for the King Tut tournament this past 2 weekends ago was $625. That brought our total balance to $770. We did purchase a new canvas awning for the players. That was $180. So we're pulling that out of the team account. That's leaving us with a balance of $590. So we've got the Super Y coming up, which I think we'll need those funds prior to when the fundraiser funds will be available. So we don't know how much the Super Y is about it. We think it's going to be about 1,000. Okay. So we may need to do one assessment of somewhere around $25 or something to make sure we can get enough in the account to fund the Super Y. I think from that point on, we'll get the fundraiser funds sometime, I think, in the month of September. And really, when I talked to a lot of the parents during the tournament, it sounded as if everyone was willing to probably go in at least with 5 groups of 75. So again, if you do 5 sets of the 75, you max it out, that's $562. So at 17 players times 562, that gets us to about $9,562. I think with $9,500, that's basically should cover what I would think the team account is set up to pay for, which is all tournaments, practice facilities that we need outside of the covenant, and then any other team expenses, which would generally be something like that the boys use for a game event or a team event, which we don't really do much expenses outside of tournaments or practice facilities. So at $9,500, I think if we play in roughly 9 or so tournaments for a 12-month period, the 5 sets of 75 should cover us basically for the year, if not maybe even having some left over. So part of it is if everyone's willing to commit to that and does that, I think that's what we're going to say is kind of would cover the overall assessment. If you can't do 5, we may have to come back and ask for some actual funds to help make sure that we have enough to cover the year. Now, I guess the next point would be, so far we've done really well. Doesn't take that much time to do. If we're talking about funding other things, because these funds could go towards funding any of the travel for a Europe type of trip, where if we wanted to do beyond 5, if everybody did 10, obviously you're getting closer to, like $19,000. So we don't need all of those funds for basic team expenses. A lot of that could go into a tournament. So, or for travel for Europe tournament. So that could be on the table. I know, I think Tyler's got a team that's, a lot of their parents are trying to do 10. I think we've all committed to 5. The question is whether we want to do more than that. If everyone can't do more than 5, the question then becomes also I don't know if we're going to get a detailed list by player. So I know like you guys are having grandparents and everyone chip in.
10 people who said they already completed it.
How'd you know?
Yeah.
How'd you
So-
know? 'Cause I've got my
As long as it
parents in
registered
the
with
UK
their team.
doing them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As long as it goes to our team.
Yeah.
It's going to go to the team. So
Yeah.
the thing is, if some do 10 and some do 5, the folks that did 10 probably want credit for their full 10. It's just going to be a matter of trying to see how we can reconcile either by email address or by some other way to determine the amount. So I would say if folks are willing to do more, we should do more. The only thing I don't know is if you can keep track of how many have been done in your family. That would probably be helpful because I don't know.
How much have we raised so far?
6,500, I think.
Yeah.
The top team's got 10,000 for the second. What- what-
65 out of the 95.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're at about
Okay.
6,000. But some of Tyler's teams, what they're doing is they're taking, sorry, I'm fogging. They're taking a snapshot of
Yeah.
like a picture of that
The email
that
or the
one
text,
email that says like you've done this many, and then they're like forwarding it onto their either their manager or like you can send it to Joe, and that's how they're kind of keeping track of how many each player gets done. So
You just know it all in the bottom. You do 10, you do 5,
So,
you do 5. I mean,
That's the other approach.
splitting hairs,
Again,
really.
if everybody's wanting a running total, it's going to be a little bit harder to manage. If everyone's committing to 5, and if you can do more than 5, we're throwing it into the team account, and whatever's left, we split it up.
Just
That
while
would be
we're
the
on that as
easiest
well,
way to do.
if anyone else got any fundraising ideas, especially for end of season tour, that'd be fantastic. If anyone wants to set up a golf day or you know what I mean. No, it doesn't have to all involve our
Hang on,
kids.
let me ask my
We
assistant.
can-
Right,
No, I'm just saying if we once we get everything together, we'll pull the cost and say right, that's the cost per kid. But we can all do it as fundraisers, So the more money we raise, the less it comes out of your pockets, as in one payment, doesn't it? So if anyone's got any ideas, fire them round. You know what I mean? We'll especially for the new ones, we'll have 2 or 3 meetings during the course of the year as well, and we'll try and support anyone if anyone's got any fundraising ideas, especially as a team. It's great for us that we can raise money in other ways. We used to, let's say, in England, let's say we did tours all over, and the parents were brilliant at fundraising. Came up with loads of crazy ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I know we can do
Some were legal,
SC downs.
some highly illegal.
Yeah, highly lucrative
That was a joke.
illegal things.
That was a joke.
Everyone's got a mask, hasn't they?
Chase Bank just at the top there.
So at this stage, are there any issues with committing to 5?
I do have a question.
Yes.
Do you need 5 email addresses to commit to 5?
It does require a unique
So
email address.
That's our, like, I don't, 5 email, like, I guess I could create one.
Yeah, and I don't know. Some people have created. I mean, I have a work email and a personal email. I don't know, and you can use. I mean, I think you can use whatever email addresses that you can make available, and whether it's you doing the survey or someone else.
I stole Karen's idea and posted it on Facebook, and I had 3 friends do it that night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
Super easy.
6 people
Really,
say
yeah.
done.
Right.
Like,
sent it
that
to
day or the
everyone in
next
my
day.
company. I said, can you do these?
That's phenomenal.
I mean, especially if they're just scrolling on Facebook, they can. They don't have to commit to the 7. That was what I was thinking.
Right.
If I
If they
put it
just
on
sent
You
there,
don't do. Yeah,
and
you do it
people
that
do
way.
20 of them,
It's-
it's 20.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are like, I've only done 48, and I was like, that's great. Or my sisters were like, I'm only at 32, and I was like, that's $48. Like, great, thank you. So, even if they can't do the 75, if you just put it out there, even if people just do 5,
So I mean,
they never post on Facebook, so people are
I
like,
don't either. I
what?
put that on there. I never do
creating a
that.
Gmail account
I'm
is
no
pretty simple. I mean, it would be the other suggestion, I guess. So anything over 5, is everybody okay with that just being pooled to the team?
Yes.
Okay, and that makes things easy. We'll obviously I'll report back to everyone in terms of how the running total. Like I said, we're at basically $600 now. We're going to need a little bit to get the Super Y paid for, which the registration is due basically this week. So I may come around, ask for one small amount. Everything will go in. Everything that comes from the fundraiser goes into the team bank account, and then I'll report out. Okay, we hit 10,000, 20,000, whatever the number is, and then we'll just tick down from there. As we get to a point, like if we're taking a trip, we can decide, do we want to pull some of those funds out to help cover some of the expenses for travel.
Survey has to be done by August 3rd, right? Your front flip.
I didn't pay out my own
August
pocket.
3rd.
I thought it was
You can
I've got loads of
No,
dough.
no,
You can
the-
afford it.
that was the 3rd. I think it's the 3rd.
Because, so Titus on the 09 team, his mom
I think
just
we all
posted
know
about the fundraiser on her Facebook page today, I think.
Yeah, it's
And she
13th.
said
Okay.
August 18th is
No, it's
the
the
last
13th.
day. Maybe I should tell her, hey,
You're checking real quick?
not
Okay, great.
the 14th.
So we'll have this year. We'll have Super Y, and then we do have 2 in November.
Yeah, we're
that are
still looking
scheduled.
at the Dallas Cup qualifiers. One of the main goals this season, especially again for the new parents, we want to be in Dallas Cup. It's our own tournament. I've been here 5 years at FC Dallas now and never won it. I've lost 1-0 to the team every year with my older group. It might be you that would be the first team to win it. Maybe, who knows?
If we win it, he shaves his eyebrows.
Shake me head. Okay, so we'll have Dallas Cup qualifiers as well thrown in. We're going to find out which tournaments are the Dallas Cup qualifiers this year because we want to get in that next year. That's always at Easter weekend, so it's to March and April next year. All right.
So we'll just give a rundown as the tournament expenses come. But I think the good news will be with the fundraiser fund, we won't have to hit. So I mean, if there is a unique tournament, I know we've done some where it's kind of more voluntary or like a spur of the moment, and everyone doesn't want to pay from the team account, then we can do an assessment for that. But you know, I'll ping everybody and see what the feeling is if they want it to come out of the team account or not. But I think for the most part, the planned tournaments, any team expenses in practice will basically come out of the team account. Other than that, I'll send a note out to see if we want to get consensus on how we want if the funds should come out of the team account.
All right, guys. Anything for anyone? Is everyone happy?
No, but the fundraiser ends August 13th.
Anything we can get in by the 13th.
Oh, yeah,
it's just money in the pocket. So,
All right, guys. Thanks for your time.